Welcome back to Blockchain Pill. My name is Alex, and today we will learn about TAGGR. TAGGR is a decentralized social media platform, which is also a DAO. So the users of the platform and the owners of the TAGGR tokens decide what happens on the platform itself. TAGGR is a very interesting project because it is completely decentralized. There was no initial sale. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the episode. Gentlemen, Radu and Mechaquan, welcome to the show. If you guys want to introduce yourselves, I would love that.
Yeah, sure. I'm Radu. I like blockchain and I like talking to people, and that's how I got to TAGGR.
Very well. And Mecha?
I'm not an old school crypto guy, but I kind of fell into it a few years back. Really got interested in internet computer protocol. Started playing around with some of the dApps being built, and TAGGR popped onto the scene just over 2 years ago. And I think my 2-year anniversary is coming up in 2 days. And I just kind of fell in love with what could be built on the internet computer, right? I think TAGGR is a leading example of that, right? Really demonstrating the various use cases that are out there. I'm a business guy, finance guy at heart, and I fell in love with like the tokenomics, the kind of financial structure incentives with the social platform. So kind of a little bit about me.
If it's your 2-year anniversary, are you going to celebrate it on TAGGR?
Yeah, I'll make a post. The funny thing is Radu's been on there since almost as long as the guy who made it, right?
Let's tell the people who you guys are. So Radu is one of the oldest users. Not the oldest users as in as in the age. He's one of the oldest users of the platform. He has been on the platform almost since the beginning, and you are one of the team members of TAGGR. So
Radu was one of the team members.
You're no longer a team member.
Well, yeah, we're decentralized.
Okay, right, exactly.
So Radu's as much as a team member as I am, and well, that's why we're both here, because we're representing collectively the TAGGR DAO, right? Unofficially, right? But yeah, so everyone who holds TAGGR tokens is effectively a team member.
Because it is a DAO. So let's start with the beginning. Radu, how did you find TAGGR so early? Like it's 2 years now that it's been up. When did you find it, and how did you find it?
January 2022. Yeah, I was in one Telegram group where most OGs of IC were there, ICP maximalists, and I've seen a post. This is something, and it's okay, what is this? I have to check it out. And when I clicked the link, and when I got to that screen, it was like something of an old-fashioned thing, a retro kind of geekish thing, like a messaging board. Simple, very simple, with an accent to mechanism design, like how incentives structure the working of the interactions between users, a pay-to-post model. And I said, wow, this is very cool, because this is one of my hobbies, mechanism design. And I said, okay, this is like, wow. And I started engaging. That's how I got TAGGR.
The first time you heard about it, it was in the Telegram group, ICP Maximalist Network. So that's truly like one of the OG groups. It's nice to see. Like I've been searching TAGGR on YouTube, and there is videos like from 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago. But it seems like recently TAGGR has been like catching on. Everybody on like in the ICP space is talking about TAGGR, and I want to get into this maybe down the line in the podcast. People are saying that they are making money by posting on TAGGR, so that's going to be very interesting to get into. What about you, Mechaquan? How did you get into TAGGR?
I was in the same Telegram group. I like to think of myself as an ICPOG as well, but I muted that group because there was just never-ending notifications. My phone was like all the time, so I muted that group. And then I saw some of the OGs on Twitter talking about this TAGGR thing, so I was literally like begging for some of the other OGs, someone send me an invite code? And my good friend Fire Risk, he was the one who helped me out with an invite code. Much like Radu, it kind of took me. It was like a little trip back in time, right? It kind of reminded me of like old school internet message boards, So I think for like the the old geek in me, it felt it was new, but it felt old, if that makes sense. And the irony is, a lot of people, right, up until recently, they really didn't like the pay to post model, and that was one of the biggest criticisms of Tagger. And I actually found that quite refreshing, quite novel at the time, because you have to think about what you want to write, right? You have to, this is going to cost a couple cents, right? Not even a couple cents, a couple fractions of a cent. I found that quite different and new, and it did keep bots and spam down. At the core of what Tagger is a pay to post to earn platform. That's the essential part of it. There's two ways to earn, right? Well, actually, there's three ways to earn, right? There's three ways. So number one, I make a post and you like it. We have credits that are the kind of the monetary instrument of Tagger, right? So you pay credits to upvote my post, and I earn those credits, and those credits are converted into ICP at the end of each week, and I can earn ICP, right? Just from posting, right? You can also, if you're, a Tagger holder, you can also, give Tagger tokens to people who make good content and are upvoted, right? So that's the second way to earn. First way is for just general rewards. So forget Tagger as a token for a moment. If we just take that and push that to the side, just posting and getting engagement earns you money, just like Twitter. So then the other thing is the Tagger tokens, right? So then the third way is, if I hold on to those Tagger tokens in my wallet, then I can earn platform revenue, right? Platform fees. So that pay to post model creates platform fees, right? Essentially revenue for the model. And because it's decentralized, because there's no central entity that owns the platform, that revenue is shared proportionally across all Tagger holders.
So the more Tagger you have, the bigger like the earning from the platform you're getting, right?
Correct.
That's super interesting. And how are you guys leveraging the Internet Computer Protocol tech to make Tagger into a DAO? And like, first of all, let's start at ground zero. For the people watching, what is a DAO, first of all?
It is a product, or let's say not product, it's a gathering of people who vote on things to make it happen. There is no centralized control. Nobody dictates this is how things are going. And the turnout is based on the majority of the vote. In this case, the majority of the vote represented by the token holders. Different weights of the tokens generate the outcome of the vote. And this is a big difference, because one of the things people don't realize about DAOs is that they don't have a clear direction, like you have with a normal company, and you say, okay, this is what I want to do 5 years, everybody follow me, because there is no other way to do it. It is more of an organic way of doing things. You come now with an idea, you spread it, people adopt it, and then we make it happen. This would not happen in a normal structured company with a pipe. This allows for the product to adapt much more quickly, to take into account the voice of the people, and to make that voice, to turn that voice into a tangible thing, which makes it valuable for all other users. So basically, we can move faster, we can do more things, and is much more intensive.
Okay, and everybody has a say in what's happening. How is Tagger as a DAO different than the DAOs that we've seen in the crypto space? Because usually, even if it's a DAO and people vote, there is somebody at the top who has to implement what the people are voting if they decide to do so. So how is Tagger truly a decentralized DAO?
There is one thing which is a prerequisite for that. For this to happen, that thing, which is like product, app, whatever you want to call it, must be able to be independent, to not rely on anything, monetary value or a dev value or any other externalities. And at this point, Tagger, by structure, by its technical structure related to how ICP works, generates revenue. That revenue pays for itself for all operations on Tagger. So Tagger can go on living forever without any financial support, as it is now, just by having users who pay. So that's very important. The second thing is that anybody can go to the GitHub, see the code, and propose to make a change. That proposal goes to the DAO, and the DAO votes. And it votes on an actual proposal with code implemented, not like a poll, not like an opinion poll that we have to do this, we vote, and then what happens? The proposals come with code attached. When they are voted, they execute, and the code automatically executes and updates the app.
That is incredible. And is this only possible? So TAGGR, I know that TAGGR is built on the Internet Computer Protocol. Like, is this only possible on the Internet Computer Protocol, or could TAGGR exist in the same form on other blockchains?
I believe X, the developer, was testing it out. You know, he had some experiments on other blockchains, and he got to various degrees, you know, involved and basically said, yeah, it's not possible, right? I mean, there were some where he just from the beginning he said, yeah, I can't even begin to start. So I personally don't believe it's possible on any other blockchain because basically what at the end of the day, at its very core, right, Internet Computer Protocol is a blockchain that's built on decentralized hardware infrastructure, right? So you can basically, you know, put in some code into a canister, a bucket, and that's sitting across, you know, what do you call it? Decentralized hardware, right? And then the blockchain protocol is running on top of that, right? So basically, you know, I don't know that it'd be able to be built in a decentralized way anywhere else, right? Because you'd have to get AWS, you'd have to find some blockchain to run on that, you know, right? And then it would have to have, you know, all the properties that ICP has. So I don't know. I haven't seen it anywhere else. I haven't seen anything even close, right? I mean, you know, people like to talk about Steam and Hive and whatever, right? I mean, they were DSO before DSO. No, I mean the guy. It was so DSO that the guy sold it.
Yeah. And a very important additional point to ICP, what's relation to ICP, is that it's completely on chain, backend and front end, and that, yes, it is only possible on ICP to have it completely on completely on chain.
ICP was able to have a blockchain that allows full, like, complete apps to exist on chain, and all the transaction, all the messages, everything that is happening on TAGGR and on other dApps on the Internet Computer Protocol, everything is on chain. So that is huge. The TAGGR project is an innovator in the space. What I think is cool is that it passed, you know, the test of time. It's been running for 2 years flawlessly, which I think is great. I saw somebody on Twitter, on X, saying that they made more in 1 week on TAGGR than they did on Twitter, like on X. In all the time they have been posting on, and people are saying they are spending less and less time on X and coming to TAGGR. What is the magic of TAGGR? Why do people come back to it?
I don't know. It seems like a pretty straightforward, easy thing, right? I mean, you don't own your account on X. You don't own your account on Facebook or Instagram. When you upload your pictures and your posts, you're uploading to their you know, proprietary, you know, software and servers, right? You know, that's housed, you know, in a building, you know, that they have access to, right? I mean, they own it, right? You're just a visitor. With TAGGR, you know, you own your content. We don't, you know, it doesn't, the platform doesn't collect any data, right? You can become an owner of the platform, right? You know, you can share in the revenues. So to me, it's, you know, people who really believe in the decentralized model of things, and really have that crypto ethos, you know, I don't think there's anything more crypto in crypto than TAGGR. I mean, you know, and I'm not just saying that because, you know, I'm a big token holder or anything like that. I'm saying it because it's legitimately true. How many tokens, right? You know, are sharing, you know, how many products are sharing their revenues with token holders?
That's true. So what I love about TAGGR is that it is extremely transparent everything that is happening on Tagger is visible on the dashboard or on the tokens tab. Tagger is very similar with Bitcoin itself, because you guys have a halving mechanism. Can you talk about how the Tagger tokens are minted and get a little bit into the halving mechanism and whatever unique feature Tagger has?
It's pretty straightforward. Like when you post, you receive endorsements. Those endorsements means credits, for which when you give an endorsement, you pay credits. And the user who receives the endorsement gets those credits and gets what we call reward. Those rewards at the end of the week are minted into tokens. And this is where the ratio comes in. Every 100,000 tokens minted, the ratio goes up. Right now, we are at 4:1. If you received 100 rewards, you will get 25 Tagger tokens minted. It is a little bit more sophisticated than that. I'm presenting it in a very straightforward manner because we made some modifications to the algorithm, but that's pretty much how it goes. And it gets harder and harder the more tokens that are minted. So every 100,000 tokens, the difficulty increases, doubles.
Have you guys thought about launching Tagger like through the SNS? Like, is that something that you guys have thought about?
I'll let Mecha this one.
Yeah, he says that because I have my own personal views about the SNS. But no, I think the SNS is great. I think it's a great opportunity for a turnkey DAO for projects to tokenize. I don't. Again, I have an open mind to this, right? I just don't see there being enough advantages for the Tagger model to go the NNS route. I mean, the SNS route. I mean, we're effectively an SNS, DAO, right? We're just not on the Launchpad listed on the NNS, right? And the reason why I say that is because all SNS canisters, right, as part of the decentralization, they're also controlled by the NNS, right? So the Tagger canister is controlled by itself and the NNS. So the NNS can push an update to Tagger in the event that we break it again. But in terms of, why do people go to the SNS, right? They want to do, an ICO, right? They want to raise funds. And I just don't see Tagger doing that. Because one, it doesn't really need to, right? It's already tokenized. The token is trading. I'm not saying it's completely outside the realm of possibility. If someone came in and wanted to buy up a bunch of tokens and, kind of like what they did with SNS1, right? And then vote on taking that to the SNS, it's possible, right? There have to be some very good arguments and reasons that would benefit Tagger, right? And at this moment, the minting structure, which is very complex, right? I don't think the SNS could support, and there's not a need to raise funds per se, right?
So you wouldn't be able to hold the same minting structure if you were to become an SNS?
My understanding is at this moment it couldn't support that, but it because basically how the SNS works is you say, okay, this much goes to the treasury, this much goes to these team wallets, this is the amount that we're going to put up for sale, and then people submit or kind of put an ICP in and they get an allocation of those tokens. So it's kind of a one and done minting process with the SNS.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so right. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say whereas this is a kind of regular, weekly minting and halving structure, right?
Mm-hmm. So the thing is, you already have, most of the tools that the SNS would provide you with. Like you guys have already built it, which is impressive. And one of the reasons why I was thinking, maybe
not us, X.
X, yeah.
Okay, cool. So you as in not the DAO, I guess. Right, correct. So X has built like the tools that the SNS has, which is impressive. And one of the examples that I had is the Ghost token, which launched an SNS to get funds and basically used 100% of the funds for liquidity. So, in my mind, 10,000 or like 20,000 ICP, like not a huge sale, right? Like 500,000 ICP, but, some a few
Yes, but
tens of thousands to add as liquidity was my.
but there is another thing to that, and I wanted to add other things about the token, but I'll respond to that. We don't have a treasury. We are not a team.
Yeah.
We are individual scattered people who don't know physically each other, who never met in reality. And I don't know, I haven't seen the face of any other member of the DAO. I think I'm the few who has a real face.
You're the face. You are the face of TAGGR, Radu.
Yeah,
you are.
It's a beautiful face. You're the face.
I'm the hair, maybe the hair. But and this is very important because most teams use the treasury because there are teams and there are treasury and they pay. But we don't have this type of structure. What to do? Even if we go to the SNS, we don't have a treasury. We don't set up a treasury for that. If somebody wants to get a payout, he makes a proposal and he said, okay, I'm doing this. Does the DAO vote to pay me in TAGGR tokens? And that's a completely different thing.
I want to add on the liquidity thing. So I saw one ICP content creator's video, Jerry Banfield. He did a wonderful video about TAGGR. And when he bought TAGGR, I don't know if it was like only him buying or he was live and people bought with him. But the price jumped, right? And right now, if I want to buy TAGGR, there is some liquidity, but I would personally love if there was more. So would there be an option like as TAGGR, like the DAO, to somehow like do a treasure, not a treasure, like a treasury, to get liquidity?
Jump in here, Radu, because I have strong opinions about liquidity.
Can the BTC nodes get together, create a pool to increase liquidity?
Yeah,
That's
but
exactly.
again, is there a DAO like on Bitcoin? Like, is Bitcoin a DAO?
What is treasury or what is liquidity? Right? I mean, that's just that a lot of people, especially in the ICP, right, ecosystem, they go, oh, project needs liquidity, right? So I've bought tokens, right, and now I want there to be liquidity so I can sell those tokens, right? It kind of feels like a refund to me. It kind of feels like I want to be able to refund, right? But with TAGGR, you're earning it. You're earning you're earning the TAGGR tokens for just using the product, right? So how would that work? Do we mint some tokens? Do we sell it? Do we get some ICP and then allow the people who earned TAGGR, they didn't buy it, right? But now we're just giving them a way to get ICP, right? I mean, I don't get it, right? Liquidity is demand. So either someone comes along and they put ICP down and they want to, buy some TAGGR tokens and you create a natural market, right? That's, and actually one of the other, I'll just give a little plug to X's other side project. He's created an order book, Beacon, right? And that's, I think, the future of where the TAGGR trading token is going to go. You go on there, you can put some ICP into the smart contract and say, I want to buy 100 TAGGR at 0.05 ICP, whatever.
Yeah.
And either someone fulfills that order or they don't, right? The market will decide. And if someone says, okay, I want to sell my TAGGR tokens for 1 ICP, they can put their 100 TAGGR tokens into the order book smart contract, and that order will sit there until someone wants to fulfill it. So that's a natural market, free capital market equilibrium, right? That needs to happen. So yeah, you're absolutely right. With the ICP swap, there's not a whole lot of ICP. There's not a whole lot of TAGGR in there. I mean, there's only 230,000 TAGGR out there in the world, and probably only about 40 or 50,000 TAGGR tokens that are actually, outside in the market, right? So there's just not a whole lot of ICP and TAGGR in that liquidity pool, right? But I think the way we want to go is an order book, let the market find its equilibrium and its price discovery itself.
And no, I understand. And I'm not saying it as the fact that there is not liquidity. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I'm just thinking about ways that maybe you guys in the DAO internally discuss. Because if there is liquidity, it's not only liquidity for the people that want to sell, it's also liquidity for the people that want to buy, right? Like if I want to buy, let's say, I don't want to spend like 1 year to earn like 1,000 TAGGR. I want to buy 1,000 TAGGR now. That would move the price. Like I would have a lot of slippage trying to buy it. So that's my reasoning. And if there is liquidity, good. If it isn't liquidity, well, it's not my problem. So I'm not saying it as if it were a bad thing. I'm asking if you guys have been discussing about ways to attract liquidity to TAGGR, and you are, as you mentioned, with the order book exchange, which again, incredible. And is it part of TAGGR or is it a completely different project?
Completely separate. It's a completely separate project. Myself and Radu don't really have anything to do with it other than users. It's a side project from the ex TAGGR founder, right? So, but yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I think it's a fair point, right? You want to buy 1,000 TAGGR, but it's difficult, right? Because there's a lot of there'd be some massive slippage. There's only 2,000 TAGGR locked into the liquidity pool or something like that. Last time I checked, there's just not the supply, right? People just don't want to sell it.
Of course, yeah.
So that by itself creates demand, right? Or skews the supply demand curve. But yeah, I completely get it. I trust me. I'm not blind to the arguments. I just don't get how the platform solves it. The users can solve it, right? The users can go and put, you can go into ICP swap and you can say, you can put however many ICPs you want, and then set your swap price. And if someone's trading, if someone's selling TAGGR within that range, you can get it that way. But it'll probably take you a while to get 1,000 TAGGR, right?
Yeah.
And I want to give another argument, because I find this liquidity thing and the fact that the project must do something similar to, let's say you have a housing market and there are few houses on the market to sell and the price goes up because there is no liquidity in the house sale. Somebody do something. No, the government create more houses. It is the same issue. We are not an organized company which goes for profit. We have nothing to do with that. We create a public good which serves peer-to-peer communication, which is immutable and censorship resistant. The token is used to govern and have part of the revenue which others spend on that platform. It's not meant to do anything else.
No, I understand. I just asked about it because I've seen on like in Jerry's video, like he after he bought, but I think he was live and a bunch of people bought together with him, and that's why the price jumped when he bought. But anyway, like when we did the podcast a while ago, now it is a lot more liquidity than it used to be. 1.5, 2 months ago. And I think naturally people will start adding liquidity, because if the token gets attention, people want to trade it, and there is trading fees that people can, passively earn by providing liquidity in like on Sonic and other dexes. What are some of the plans the community has for TAGGR? Are you guys working on something that people can, look out for in the near future?
We think we are working on something, and then we realize another 1,000 things need to be taken care of, and we go into a different tack. But we all have different views, and I'll tell you my views, and Mecha will tell you his views. As it is a communication network where people come together, the content is the key. And from my point of view, content being the key, we should focus on how to give users a better environment to have focus on quality content. And that comes with creating more tools for them. For example, the groups that are created should have better tools to be able to allow the focus on the content, the moderation to be specific for that group, for the people in that group to have better ways of interacting with each other. And we just moved into that direction. Yeah. Another one being built on chain is that there are requests for other projects to come and use the governance framework we created for an in-group for their project. It's like replicating the big infrastructure for just a project to be able for those members of that product or coin or whatever app to vote and to have like like a small tagger for themselves, you know?
So it's kind of like you guys are having like your own SNS, right? So it's your SNS inside the ICP network, kind of.
Combined with the forum together.
Yeah. I love it.
So what I call it is I mean, we don't really have a name for it. It's just like, super realm, project realm, realm DAO, whatever. But yeah, it could definitely be a kind of turnkey DAO. Have ICRC token gating. You have what do you call it? A named neuron, and all of your token holders can then vote on that project's named neuron or whatever. And then you also have the community in the forum, as Radu mentioned, right? So I don't think it's not trying to compete with the SNS or whatever. It can offer some of the similar things, right? It could be used for smaller projects, right? Let's say I want to create I don't know.
Mechaquan meme coin.
Yeah, exactly. Mechaquan meme coin, and I can create my own super DAO and give people tokens, and we can whatever we can, or I can use it as a way to gate my private realm. You know what I mean? Just tokenize my own private realm for family or something like that. So there's so many things, so many directions it can go in. But like Radu says, I think there's definitely a big vision which we all share, right? But then the kind of the ugly bits, the real work gets in the way. All of a sudden it's like, ooh, okay, this is a potential, this is a potential loophole, this is a potential risk. Let's tweak this, or okay, this isn't really working right. User onboarding. How do we, a couple weeks ago we didn't really have this problem, right? But now it's like, okay, how do new people discover, right, good content, right? So this all of a sudden became a very important thing, right? In the background, we haven't forgot about wanting to embrace any and every project, right? But now, as thousands of people are pouring on, not thousands, okay, 2,000, hundreds of people are pouring onto it, onto the site. How do we get them, to identify good content creators or interesting topics or realms that they want to, right? So, that kind of, when you sign up for Twitter, when you sign up for, whatever, Spotify, you kind of click what type of music and what kind type of artists you like. And that onboarding process now has become kind of something a little bit more critical, right? Because, we had this new feed, which for 2 years was perfect, right? You could kind of go on there and you could see the 10, 20, 30 people, having their daily post or whatever. But with 1,000, average weekly users, it just became a stream of consciousness or a stream of unconsciousness, depending on how you look at it. But yeah, it certainly wasn't creating a good experience, right? For new users, because they were just seeing anything and everything. So really, that's kind of become a big focal point. But yeah, there's so much to do. I think it's just, at the end of the day, it's just fun playing around with this stuff, and it is a social experiment. We don't know what we're doing. We don't know where we're going to be in 1 year or 5 years, right? We're going to keep, moving and be agile, right? We are the shareholders, and we are, everyone in Tagger is the shareholders, and they can help steer that direction.
So right now you are working like on an algorithm or a way to show people the content that they want to see, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very, I want to be careful about, the algorithm, because we want to position ourselves, or at least I do, right? I think Tagger, should be different than the Instagrams and TikToks and Twitter that's pushing content into your face, right? The user should decide what they want to see, right?
No, so how I think the TikTok algorithm works, like, it doesn't give you like random stuff. It gives you, like, depending on how long you watch a video, or if you like a video, or if you comment to a video, he sends you exactly the type of video that he knows you like. Like, he knows better what you are going to like than you yourself know. That's why it's so addictive.
And that's why social media has been so great and so bad at the same time. And it's in my opinion, it's contributed to so much extremism, because it puts people into these little isolated bubbles, right? Where if you think JFK was an alien killed by Klingons, you know what I mean? You're going to get 1,000 videos about that, right? So,
Confirming, yeah, confirming your bias. Yeah, exactly.
exactly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I think it's better to have a kind of open, see everything, right? And people can choose to turn it off or to mute it or to see more of that. And you know what I mean? It is scary, the
Yeah.
power that social media has.
To this point, the idea that an algorithm will give you something that you like is kind of a passive way of looking at things. If you go to Tagger and you pay to post, you make an effort because you pay. And that effort means you put in a little bit more thought on how you proceed and go further. So this mindset of effort to obtain value is one of the ways most Tagger users engage Tagger, we hope. And we want to keep that, because it's okay, you pay some cents to post. You think about it, okay? Because if you post too much, then there are a lot of cents. And then who do I follow? Well, I would like to follow then people who give me value, because the algorithm doesn't give me who to follow, but I search for it, because when I pay my cents to comment, I should do that when I obtain value.
That is very interesting. And I think that the current TikTok, Instagram algorithms are super unhealthy. And that's why, people have phone addiction. And, those algorithms are great when, you have advertisers that, and when the platform wants you to spend like 10 hours a day on the platform just to be able to extract money out of you. And with Tagger, I feel that it's different. You want people to have a great experience and to learn something and, to connect basically with people is what I'm understanding. And this gets me to the next question. I've seen on X a post. So what is the correct Tagger community member etiquette? How should a user behave on Tagger? Because I've seen on X somebody who was making like too many posts or commenting in such a way whether people got upset with them. So
yeah, we had a bit of drama this week.
of course. So with a huge influx of people, there will be drama.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And there's no matter what we do, that we will never avoid that. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, look, everyone's going to be different, right? Everyone's going to want to engage with different content, and that's the point of it, right? For me, I want to having authentic, genuine engagements, right? About anything. What we don't want Tagger to become is just a void where meaningless spam and regurgitated stock photos and stuff like that, because that doesn't add value, right? If you're a new user, right? If I go talk to someone who doesn't know anything about ICP, doesn't know anything about Tagger, whatever, like my mom or whatever, and I get my mom on Tagger, right? And she looks in there and it's just, it's just the worst trash you can imagine, right? It's like, what is this? Just, they're going to close it. Never going to open it again.
Yeah. And not even like the worst, it's just like random stuff randomly appearing, which is confusing, I guess.
From my perspective, when you get to Tagger, you should not have the token on your mind. You should have the content. When I first got to Tagger, there was no token. And when Mecha came to Tagger, there was no token. Okay, we would share some revenue, but it was like less than a few cents per week. I mean, it was nothing, no token in mind for 1 year, nothing. Just came and post what you like, engage in discussions.
Yeah.
And this is the main thing. Okay, now that the token is released, which has like an astronomical value from my point of view, I see no relation why it should be so high. But people see the token and say, "Oh, the token, it's the token." It's
like, the token, yeah. I make $50 on X in 1 year. I go to Tagger, I make $100 in 1 week. So that's gonna attract a lot of people. So how are you guys planning to keep the Tagger like pure and like the main idea of Tagger where you provide value? What's the plan for that?
I think people need to reward that type of engagement and that type of content, right? I mean, if if I was on Twitter and I was just posting stock photos, you probably wouldn't engage with me, right? If I was putting out thoughtful, ideas or discussions or whatever, then it's a different story. You have to interact with that value that you find that content that you found valuable, really, at the end of the day.
We saw even on Twitter what happened. Like, since the monetization happened, if you go to any post, like to the comments, there is nothing related to the post itself. It's only like random memes and, you know, random funny videos, and that's like the first 20 responses. So that's a problem. When people are being paid to get views, it's a problem.
Yeah, so I mean, I personally won't engage with stuff that isn't worth engaging with, really, at the end of the day.
And then you'll have a bunch of angry people and be like, you guys don't like, you know, new people, I'm gonna leave. Goodbye.
Okay,
Well,
they can go.
Yeah. I love that.
I also, I mean, my view, again, we are a DAO, each one is different. I don't speak the voice of the DAO, I speak my voice, is that spam and engagement farming, like it is done here for views to monetize it, it's a problem of asymmetric ratio between costs and rewards. It costs very little to post something or to nothing, but the rewards are very high. If you tweak a bit the economics and increase the cost of posting by different algorithms, then you reduce that ratio.
Mm-hmm.
So there is less incentive to do that action.
Yeah,
because the reward, you know, the cost is higher, the probability of reward goes low.
I think that would be one of the solutions. I saw a lot of stuff about TAGGR. Like last week was crazy. So I saw a guy who posted a picture. He was locked out of commenting. Like he did like 30 comments in 1 hour. And somebody commented like, I never got to that. And I never in my dreams would have been able to get to that number of comments. So maybe that guy was commenting a little bit too much.
Yeah, no, I think that was Trap. I love Trap. Shout out to Trap DeFi. But yeah, no, I what Radu says, you know, he's not just picking this scenario out of the blue, right? We're actually going through a very, you know, good, thoughtful debate, and this is how the DAO works, right? It's not someone who just makes a decision and then presses a button, right? You know, there's actually a very, you know, thoughtful debate that's been happening on the past couple of days, and it's around pictures, right? So for example, what we've seen is a lot of people sharing stock pictures, you know, really, in my opinion, low effort AI pictures, right? Which could be stock, which could be, you know, not even, you know, self-created, right? And they're just throwing that out there because it costs like 1 cent to post a picture, right? So you just get all these pictures posted, right? But they're not really adding value. They're not, you know what I mean? You know, they're not. It's not something that you really care about conveying to the world, right? So the thought is, well, should we increase the cost of posting a picture, right? I mean, you have to store these pictures, right? They cost money to store forever, right? On the IC, it's an indefinite storage cost, and there's also a value content level, right? So you know, there's been a hot topic about that because actually, if you have to pay 1 cent to post a picture, or you have to pay 10 cents to post a picture, for example, you're probably going to think about what picture you want to upload for 10 cents, right? If all of a sudden you're posting, you know, you could post 100 pictures for $1, right? At 1 cent, but you can only post 10 for $1, right? So if the cost benefit analysis that Radu talks about is well balanced, then you're going to think about that, right? You're going to think about it a little bit more, and especially if you're going to earn, you know, we have some really great photographers on TAGGR, and they take some really great photos. I don't think they would bat an eye at having to pay $1, for example, to post one of these beautiful artistic photos, knowing that they could earn 10 to 100 times that amount on one post, right? So now you say, okay, there's that economic model, change the, you know, $1 post to now 1 cent. You know what I mean? So that balance absolutely needs to be there.
That is a solution, and it's going to be interesting to see how you guys adapt, you know, to the to more and more people finding out about TAGGR, because I'm sure a lot of people will love the model and will love TAGGR in the way it is now. Because I remember like talking to you 1.5 months ago when we first talked, but like with so much passion you guys are talking about TAGGR, and I would love to see how TAGGR will develop in the future, and you know what's going to change.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say this because I guess we're running out of time here, right? I mean, you know, I'm not going to like insult anyone and say, oh, I don't care about the money. If TAGGR was worth $1,000 each TAGGR, right? Of course I would, you know, sell and go, oh yeah, maybe, I don't know, buy a cool T-shirt or something. I don't know. Anyhow, but it's I'm genuinely having fun, right? I mean, it's a fun experiment, right? I've never built a social media platform, or I've never been involved in helping build a social media platform before. it's just fun, and I think that's why you hear this enthusiasm from myself and Radu, because we're just having fun. We're just a couple old guys, nerds on the internet, just playing around.
And for me, it's about the idea that you can create a primitive, like really working Agora in a digital fashion, 2024, which serves as a model, because anybody can see this as a base layer on which to build other products, like social products for interaction.
That would be so cool. No, when you guys are going to do like your like mini SNS thing, I'm curious, like what are the guys at Dfinity thinking about it? Like do they know about this?
I don't know. Mecha, did you ask him?
I think it'd be against the ethos to ask their permission. No. I mean, I think competition is good, right?
Of course,
I mean, I'm not saying we're a competitor to SNS, right? I'm not saying that at all, right? But what I'm saying is I think competition breeds innovation, right? So I'm a firm believer of the free market when it comes to those things, right? So I think if there is an alternative, and I'm not saying Tagger is going to be that alternative, right? Because it's just meant to be a project forum or whatever. But I mean, I don't see there being any problem with that. But it's just it's we're so far away from that. The SNS is like light years ahead of what we're trying to do, right? So I don't think that they're really that worried, if I'm honest.
And I even like if you guys were to like start your SNS like tomorrow, I don't think they would mind, because basically ICP like is a sandbox and anybody can build whatever they want. In my opinion, that's how I see it. Like on the Internet Computer Protocol, I don't think there has to be somebody to tell you, you can build this, but you can't build that. I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I will finally create my Tagger account. I am super now. I'm sad, right? I'm so sad I didn't create it like 2 months ago. Incredible. So congratulations on the progress this far. It's been incredible to. I can say I talked to you guys when you were small, right? You're a lot bigger now. We're still friends, and incredible work, and congratulations for the dedication that you guys have and the work that you've put into Tagger. And I'm looking forward to see where Tagger will go in the future.
And a shout out to everybody who's using Tagger, because they are making Tagger great.
Absolutely. And shout out to you guys. Thank you very much for tuning into this podcast and finally making it official.
Let's hope we see it live.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully, no. I think this time it's going to go live. Is there something that you guys wanted to mention that we didn't cover?
We'll remember probably after.
After, of course.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much to say, but I would say, I mean, this, hopefully we do this again, right? I mean, hopefully the video gets, you should definitely create that account and post the link when the video is official, post it on Tagger. This time I will, and thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for being open and talking about Tagger. And I hope you enjoyed this episode and learned more about Tagger. The first thing I'm gonna do now is create my Tagger account and do the first post. I hope to see you on Tagger as well. And with that, we're done. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.